SUPERINTEDENANT Automobile, formerly U-Turn Ghana Limited, has been in the business of offering quality U-Turn product and services at competitive rates. At SUPERINTEDENT Automobile, our team of expert staff, management, engineers and mechanics professionally deal in the sale of U-Turn buses, genuine spare parts, its repairs and maintenance at a highly effective workshop with remarkable speed. We also have available the sale of Camel car batteries, Weichai and Kia spare parts, Zonton coaches and light duty vehicles for everyday movement. Contact us on 020-000-0831 or 054-555-7500. You can also email us info@seautomobilegh.com or visit our website at www.seautomobilegh.com. SA Automobile, the pleasure of doing business with you is all ours.
Welcome back to the program. And now to our first story, where the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Andrew Amwakwa Esiama, has deferred a request by the Member of Parliament for Tolong Habib Idrisu for the National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jemfi, to be dragged before the Parliament Privileges Committee. The NDC chief spokesperson is said to have made comments that are contemptuous of Parliament. Mr. Jemfi's comment was on the back of the approval of some ministers of state for President Akufo-Addo's second term in office, where the Speaker was compelled to defer the ruling after the minority side alleged procedural lapses in the presentation of the request. The minority claims it is inappropriate for an issue which occurred some 5 months ago to be brought before the committee now.
Shall constitute a breach of privilege or contempt of Parliament. So it says publication of false, perversive, misleading, disorder, fabrication or scandalous reports, books or libel reflecting on the proceedings of Parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, I so move that by this was an attack to the Speaker and the leadership, and this matter should be referred to the Committee of Privileges. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
How urgent is a matter that took place 5 months ago? How urgent? How urgent is a matter that took place 5 months ago? That was common knowledge to everybody. That they didn't consider it urgent to bring it to this House. And then it was only when yesterday an issue of privilege was raised in this House and admitted that all of a sudden people have gone to resurrect a matter that is 5 months old and claiming urgency and wanting you to admit such a matter as a matter of complaint.
A member of the National Democratic Congress, the National Communication Officer, has used certain words against Mr. Speaker, members of this House, which words amount to contempt, which words undermine our work and authority.
I am inclined to defer the ruling to tomorrow. That's my ruling.
Well, joining us on the phone is a Member of Parliament for the Naleregu constituency, the Honourable A.B.A. FUSENI, to tell us more on today's matter in Parliament. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. Alhaji A.B.A. FUSENI, can you hear me? Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We don't have Alhaji A.B.A. FUSENI on the line. He is a member of the Privileges Committee. We had agreed to speak to him on this matter, but as and when we get through to him, we'll be talking to him on this issue. We move on to our next story, where the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman-Manu, has announced the termination of the Ministry of Health's controversial contract with middleman Sheikh Ahmed Dalmouk Al Maktoum for the supply of Russian-made Sputnik V vaccines for the country. Addressing the parliamentary committee investigating the contract, Kwekwaji Mamenu said the businessman wrote to his outfit on Wednesday to terminate the contract.
As you are aware, that we have already expedited the first delivery of Sputnik vaccines by supplying 20,000 doses to Ghana. However, since then, we have endured a series of challenges due to the late delivery of vaccine and limited availability of stock for both component 1 and 2. The shortage of supply of vaccines is a global issue and a challenge being faced major vaccine suppliers. Furthermore, we are working in collaboration with our partners and are continuously deploying our best efforts to resolve the continuity of supplies for Ghana. In the interim, if the government wishes to source the vaccine from some other supplier until this issue is resolved, we are ready to cooperate with the government to meet the country's requirement. Given our cordial relationship with the government, we wish to terminate the vaccine supply agreement. We hope that when the supplies are restored, we will be able to re-engage on new terms and follow the due process for that purpose. We look forward to continuing working closely with the government to further enhance the bilateral ties existing between our two brotherly countries. Please accept my highest commitment and assurance in this regard. After we have signed the contract, they gave us 2 weeks to supply the first 300,000 we ordered, based on our ability to give them letters of credit as part of the terms of the agreement. Our letters of credit delayed, and it got to them sometime. Then they came back after they have confirmed that they had run out of stocks. So Russia was going to supply them more stocks, and they will supply us within 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we inquired, and they said they still hadn't got the supplies. So we started engaging them that if that is the matter, they should permit us amicably to withdraw from the contract so that we can do something different to find vaccines for ourselves, because our faith in them to supply was winning. So we continuously started pushing pressure on them. They gave us July delivery, and it's like we have been pressurizing them to give us the vaccines to no serious avail. And then yesterday, they sent us, actually they gave us verbal invitation, verbal notice that they will not be able to supply any longer. And so we requested, they then terminate the agreement, which they had actually done. So as we sit here, I believe there's no contract between the two of us.
We can now return to our earlier story, where there is some attempt to drag the National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jemfi, to face the Privileges Committee of Parliament following some comments he made post the approval of some ministers of President Akufo-Addo in his second term. We now have Alhaji A.B.A. FUSENI, who is the Member of Parliament for the Naliregu constituency, also member of the Privileges Committee. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining us on NewsLine.
Yeah, good evening, my brother, and good evening to all your viewers and listeners.
Right. I needed to set the record straight on the show tonight. What exactly happened? Is it the case that Sami Jemfi has been dragged to the Privileges Committee pending the approval of the Speaker of Parliament, or that hasn't happened yet?
That hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. And my attention has also been drawn to a number of our media networks that have carried out that's probably false.
Right.
There was an attempt, indeed there was an attempt to drag him before the Privileges Committee, but it failed. And Mr. Speaker actually indicated clearly that he was not even giving the ruling at that moment, and that he was deferring a ruling to tomorrow. And even the initial attempt floundered on the fact that the honorable member for Tolon, my brother Habib, attempted to initiate the process for getting him before the Privileges Committee by adopting a wrong approach. Indeed, he started a wrong order. He went to, he came under Order 91. And in fact, almost immediately, it was shut down because Order 91 did not apply in this particular instance. And he sought to run away again and go to Order 27. And Order 27 deals with privileges. And Mr. Sami Jemfi is not a member of Parliament. And for that matter, they could not come under the same Order 27, which dealt with privileges of members of Parliament. And so on all scores, he was caught flat-footed. And he also did not seek leave of Mr. Speaker. In withdrawing, he didn't seek the leave of Mr. Speaker to even come back again on another motion. And so on all the attempts that were made, they all floundered. And so Mr. Speaker clearly, the second deputy speaker who was in the chair, clearly saw that, look, everything had been mixed up. And on that score, he declined to accede to the demands he was making. And so Mr. Sabi Jeffy, I can say authoritatively, it's not before the Privileges Committee of Parliament.
Right. So what is the Speaker ruling on tomorrow?
I'm sure he was trying to seek leave to come back. In the initial procedural motion that he moved, the motion to actually get Mr. Sami Jeffy indicted, he came under the wrong orders of the House.
Right.
And he didn't cite the appropriate order. So I'm sure he's trying to seek leave from Mr. Speaker to withdraw and come back on another appropriate motion, perhaps to be listened to. But you see, even we're taking the decision that the matter is moot. Now he had to come on notice. Hello?
Right.
Hello?
I'm listening to you, sir. I'm listening.
Yeah, he had to come on notice. And if he came on notice, then it had to be an urgent matter. And this is a matter that is over 5 months old. I can tell you without any other that this is just bound to fail. Because next time he has to come, he will have to come on notice. And when he comes on notice means it must be an urgent matter. And you cannot tell me that an incident that happened 5 months ago is an urgent matter.
Now, based on the standing orders of the House,
yes.
Is there any problem bringing a matter which is 5 months old to the House? Is there any problem with that? Because this is not the first time I've heard your side refer to that as a reason why the matter shouldn't even be brought before the House. It's 5 months old. Question is, and so what?
If he has to come on notice, it must be a matter of urgency before the House.
Right.
How can a matter that you sat back? I mean, when did they realize that, according to that, and we even think that the basis for that is flawed? He said, Sami Jeffy never said or did anything that brought Parliament into disrepute or end him in a contempt of Parliament.
Yeah, but why don't you wait? Why don't you wait for? Why don't you? What? That's your opinion. That's your opinion that you're expressing. Because I was going to say,
of course, it's an opinion, and what he has also done is an opinion.
Right.
He's also expressing an opinion that he has fallen foul and must be dragged for contempt. My opinion is that he has not.
All right.
So we are all expressing opinions.
All right.
So it is not as if I'm expressing an opinion and he's expressing a fact.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
On the contrary, even our position has been vindicated by Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
But not only did he get the appropriate standing orders wrong. Okay. But even the attempt to cite the proper grounds on which to anchor his contempt failed.
Okay.
And so I'm just giving you an indication that if he has to come on notice.
Elijah, I want to thank you.
An urgent motion, and
right.
It's not.
I want to thank you very much for accepting to talk to us on Newsline tonight on Metro TV. We're most grateful.
I'll be very glad if you put it out.
We can now move to some other stories where the Tarkwa Divisional Police Command has commenced investigations into the mysterious disappearance of the Jasihine of the Apento Divisional Council. That's Dr. Nana Adakwa Bediako III, 3 days ago. The incident, according to reports, happened a few days after a relative whose name was giving us Kakra, allegedly threatened to kill him. There's more in the following report.
Chief linguist of the Apinto Traditional Division, Nana Kwabena Obo II, in an interview with Metro News confirmed that the said Kakra had on Sunday called him and threatened to kill the Jasihine within the next 5 days. The chief linguist added that after alerting the overlord Nana Angu II, he called the Jasihine and informed him about Kakra's threat, after which he joined him to Tarkwa to lodge a complaint with the police. Nana Kwabena Obo II had earlier indicated that Kakra had suspected the Jasihine of giving his mining concession to government for community mining. Tarkwa Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Andrew George KUMA says they have commenced investigation.
Na nkyerɛkyerɛmu no ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɛnora no yɛhu sɛ nana ne kaa ɛpake ɛwɔ A.B.A national animu ɛfiri hɔ no ɛne yɛnhu no na nipa a ohu kaa no ɛyɛ ɔno ane driver ɔne ne nam paapesi ɔno ne kɔhu sɛ nana kaa ɛsi A.B.A national animu nana ɛfo nyina agu kaa no mu kaa ne safoɔ nso ɛsi ani na mmom ɔhwɛ nana a ɔhu nti ɛma ɔfrɛ mpanimfoɔ no bi ɔno a ɔmkasa wie so ɔnhu nana no ɔno driver no ɛtu kaa no ɛde kɔfi ɛno akyi ansa nana toku ɛne driver ɛkra mpakwasi ɛba police station ɛyɛ awia no ɛbɛ report.
Metro News is keenly following this development and will keep viewers updated.
A group calling itself the Concerned Citizens and Public Interest Advocates of A.B.A North District of the Ashanti region has appealed to President Akufo-Addo not to reappoint the incumbent District Chief Executive Officer, Rebecca Yeboah, as DCE for the area. The group claims Madam Rebecca is incompetent and disrespectful towards the chiefs in the area. There is more in the following report filed by our Ashanti regional correspondent, A.B.A Suleiman, read to you.
Addressing a press conference at the A.B.A North District capital at Barakesi, the convener for Concerned Citizens and Public Interest Advocates of A.B.A North District, Reverend Kwame Afrea-Chempo, noted the DCE, Rebecca Yeboah, has since her appointment some 4 years ago done nothing to develop the district. He mentioned lack of potable drinking water, health facilities, deplorable road networks and lack of educational infrastructure as some of the plights she has turned a blind eye to.
I cannot name the names of the district to anyone, be it towns, villages and cottages. And we believe that she cannot analyze the district very well to anybody because he's a native of this district. For that matter, we can't work with him. We need somebody who is a native of the district. We don't need any cut and paste district assembly officer here again. Yes. This woman underestimates the intelligence of the good people of the district.
The angry youth indicated that apart from demanding accountability, they are also challenging the DCE to come forward to point any visible project in the district she is undertaking in a 4-year tenure as DCE.
Even strip ramp that should protect drivers from overspeeding has not been constructed in any of the towns. Look at Adankwame, the highway in Adankwame, there is only one strip ramp and the other. We need more. We need some in Barakesi and some other places.
Some of the members of the Concerned Citizens and Public Interest Advocates share their frustration with Metro News.
Apart from Opei, Atumangwa beja duma bia no adoma ya yi no ne edidi otiman eduma ne edidi ho kakran so ma me ne ba ye no san ne esesafo afaso ma police for soldiers for san ne edi ani ewo kuro num obi ntimi emfa aduma mbraw ba enema kra ka sem de boye ye nan ko man ne ye so ye ho batoye no enso ema.
The group is urging the National Investigation Bureau to investigate an alleged dual citizenship of the district chief executive.
Now, 1 of every 4 Ghanaians needs psychotherapy to correct a certain level of unstable mental health condition. Now, this is according to a senior clinical psychologist at the Tarkwa Government Hospital in the Ashanti region. Dr. Mami Kunedu said she's concerned about the situation because it is related to gender-based violence most Ghanaians suffer in their homes. There's more in the following report filed by Ashanti regional correspondent A.B.A Suleiman, read to you.
The senior clinical psychologist at the Tarkwa Government Hospital in the Tarkwa Pankrono municipality of the Ashanti region, Dr. Mami Kunedu, made the statement in an interview with journalists after she delivered a talk on role of psychologists in handling victims of gender-based violence at a 2-day workshop in Kumasi.
What people hear, they do interpret it the way that it will suit them. But we end up hurting ourselves because of the kind of interpretation we gave to the things that we heard. in schools, most of the time, what some teachers tell their students, no kind of encouragement whatsoever. So their self-esteem is brought down because of the kind of words that we say to them.
A gender-based violence activist, Hamdiya Abdul Latif, emphasized the need to get all stakeholders in the various communities to get involved in the fight against gender-based violence in the country.
If we are able to engage them, sensitize them on some of these matters, they are now well informed and well placed to tackle these matters, not with silence, but with strategies that will help or save somebody from the next death.
On her part, the founder and chief executive officer for Women TV Africa, Adjoa Fosua, identified the reasons gender-based violence was in ascendancy and encouraged all and sundry to help nip it in the bud.
Beyond that is our cultural perception, where we are always saying that men don't cry, men don't complain. So men are also going through a lot of abuse, and because of that, accepted mindset, they are not talking about it. So people are keeping quiet, also because religiously we say that you should protect your home. As a woman, you are the covering of your husband. So instead of you to talk for people to come to your aid, you want to just cover it to protect your family.
The workshop assembled people from civil society organizations to equip them with skills and knowledge in finding appropriate means and solutions in eradicating gender-based violence in their various communities.
Now let's bring you a business story from Western Asia country Yemen, where Yemeni security guard Riyad Qasim
14, but the International Monetary Fund now describes it as facing an acute economic and humanitarian crisis. Yemen is split between an internationally recognized government in the south, backed by a Saudi-led military coalition, and the Iran-aligned Houthi movement that controls most of the north and the main port of Hodeidah on the Red Sea. Each side also has a central bank with opposing policies. The Aden Central Bank, which has access to international financial markets, has increasingly turned to printing new currency notes to cover the government's deficit and pay public sector wages, especially those of security and military forces. That has inevitably sparked criticism in the north, where only the increasingly old rial notes are accepted. The result is that even Yemen's exchange rate is split. The rate for the new notes in Aden hit 1,000 rials to the dollar this week. In Houthi-held Sana'a, the rate was about 600. Aden Central Bank, which did not respond to several requests for comments, has sought to shore up the weakening currency by doubling interest rates last year and warning foreign exchange houses against exceeding the official exchange rate of 580 rials. The Aden government said on Tuesday, July 13, it had full confidence that Saudi Arabia would intervene before the economy collapsed. President Abd Rabbu Mansur Hadi, whose government was ousted from Sana'a by the Houthis in late 2014, moved the central bank to Aden in 2016. He accused the Houthis of squandering $4 billion of bank reserves on the war. The Houthis said the funds were used to finance food and medicine imports. The IMF and the United Nations has tried since 2018 without success to reunite the central banks as part of wider stalled efforts to end the war. Haiti's government accuses the Houthis of diverting port revenues from Hodeidah, the main entry for Yemen's commercial and aid flows. The Houthis want the coalition to lift the blockade before agreeing to any renewed peace talks. With the Muslim holiday Eid al-Adha approaching in July, supermarkets in Aden have tried to lure customers in with offers on imported items, but many people people cannot afford even basics. Meanwhile, Yemenis who have to send money across the frontline face cost that can amount to almost 60% of the value of the transaction because of the different exchange rates and associated transfer fees.
Really tough times in that Western Asian country of Yemen. Well, we can only wish them well. Well, this is all that time would allow us to bring you tonight on NewsLine on Metro TV. Before that, a quick recap of the major stories. Second, Deputy Speaker Andrew Amwako Esiama defers action on motion filed to drag Sami Jenfi to the Privileges Committee of Parliament for contempt. And also in the news tonight, Parliament approved a $28 million loan agreement facility between the Government of Ghana and the National Investment Bank for the purchase of 275 vehicles for members of the 8th Parliament, despite public uproar. I want to say big thanks to Delta Paper, producers of Floral Disposable Tissue, for bringing us Newsline tonight. And this is where we end it. My name is Moro Awudu. Thanks for watching. I hope you had a great time. Remember, the news never sleeps. Have a good night.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.